Tonight, the Supreme Court and the death penalty. The justices ruled child rapists cannot be executed, saying the punishment does not fit the crime. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, fears that the U.S. is now part of a worldwide economic slowdown. And new concerns that prices are going to go through the roof.
We haven't seen anything that even resembles this since back in the days when Spain was bringing gold from the New World.
The world's deadliest flower. Terrorists in Afghanistan make money from it, and the U.S. has spent $1 billion trying in vain to destroy it.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
And good evening, everyone. We begin tonight with two major rulings from the Supreme Court. The first involves the Exxon Valdez disaster, the worst oil spill in U.S. history. Today, the justices slashed punitive damages from $2.5 billion down to $500 million. That's the amount ExxonMobil has already paid to compensate victims of the 1989 spill that sent 11 million gallons of oil into Alaska's Prince William Sound. And in a 5-4 decision, the justices also banned executions of child rapists. Wyatt Andrews has more on that.
No matter how horrendous the crime of raping a child might be, the Supreme Court says executing the rapist is cruel and unusual punishment. Justice Anthony Kennedy called the death penalty not a proportional punishment for the rape of a child, and that the death penalty has to be reserved for the worst of crimes against individuals that take the victim's life.
We have to use it only where the victim has died, not in crimes against individuals where the victim hasn't been killed or wasn't intended to be killed.
The ruling hits hardest in Louisiana, where two death row inmates, Patrick Kennedy and Richard Davis, both convicted of brutally raping young girls, will now likely get life sentences. Disappointed prosecutors there dispute the idea that child rape is not the worst of crimes.
That is depraved and is equal to, if not worse than, the depravity of someone who takes another human being's life.
In a powerful dissent, Justice Samuel Alito also argued that child rape is an executable offense. In the eyes of ordinary Americans, Alito wrote, predators who seek out defenseless young children are the epitome of moral depravity. Beyond Louisiana, the ruling impacts the 4 other states with capital child rape laws on the books, and 5 more states that have the death penalty for crimes like drug trafficking and kidnapping will likely see those laws overturned. This ruling, however, makes no mention of using capital punishment for crimes against the country. That's important because it means the federal death penalty for treason and espionage is still legal. Wyatt Andrews, CBS News at the Supreme Court.
Now turning to the CBS News Money Watch, the Fed did something today that it hasn't done in a while. It left interest rates unchanged. 1 year ago, the federal funds rate stood at 5.25%, but after 7 straight rate cuts, it stands at 2% today, and that's where it will remain, at least for now. Nancy Cordes explains.
Trapped between rising prices and a slowing economy, the Fed decided to play it safe.
They're still a bit worried about recession, but they're getting increasingly worried about inflation, so they're going to sit and watch for a while and see what happens next.
Cutting rates again would have pumped more money into the economy, spurring economic growth and spending. Too much of that and prices go up. And with record oil prices already driving up the cost of everything, the Fed warned it may raise rates soon, saying the upside risks to inflation and inflation expectations have increased. Since last spring, the price of these staples has shot up 7%. Now, that's bad enough, but who buys just food? Throw in all these other necessities, and now you're pushing 10%. That's the kind of inflation this country hasn't seen since the early 80s.
Now, what's remarkable about this inflation is that it appears to be global, and that's very rare.
Trader Art Cashin says Wall Street is becoming more alarmed by price spikes around the world. In China, food prices are up 23%. Germany's inflation rate jumped nearly 1% in May alone. And Japan is weathering its highest inflation rate in nearly 30 years. Why does it make a difference for Americans if the inflation is global versus just here in this country?
If it was just here, then Mr. Bernanke and his team would have much better control of it. But if he starts reining things in, if you would, building some levees along the stream, and it's not taken care of in Europe and in China and elsewhere, we could get flooded back with the same inflationary pressure.
For now, the Fed is banking on a slowing economy to force prices back down. But there's growing concern an historic wave of inflation powered by pricey oil will wash away that strategy.
We haven't seen anything that even resembles this since back in the days when Spain was bringing gold from the New World and it caused inflation all across Europe.
Worldwide fears about inflation could cause Europe's central bank to raise interest rates next week, and the Fed could follow suit as soon as the fall, Katie.
All right, Nancy Cordes. Nancy, thanks very much. And if the economy is going to recover, small businesses will be leading the way. But many business owners find themselves stymied by the credit crunch. As Anthony Mason reports, they just can't get loans.
8. Woo! 7.
Adriana Martin started a fitness training spa for mothers in her Florida home. Now she wants to expand.
Something that really takes my business to the next level. Lift your body up and push. Beautiful.
She's looking for $50,000.
We're going to do it 10 times again.
To help produce and promote DVDs. But so far, the banks haven't come through.
It's very frustrating because I have a great dream. I think I have a great idea.
Yolanda Goldwire wants to grow the medical billing business she also started at home. But she needs $25,000 to open an office and hire employees.
I went to Wachovia, Bank of America, Community Bank.
They all turned her down.
What did they tell you?
Either that my business wasn't open long enough, like didn't have established business credit, or they just didn't have the funding.
It's the fallout from the mortgage mess. Lenders are running away from risk, and according to the Federal Reserve, more than half of the banks in the country have tightened up their lending standards for small businesses.
Is it harder to start a business right now because of this?
I would say definitely.
Jennifer Bryn with the Florida Women's Business Center says loans just aren't there for startups.
They're not even there for people who are an established business, who are just right now, for the first time, experiencing a struggle.
It's small businesses that power the U.S. economy. They create 70% of the new jobs.
And I really can't contribute to the economy the way I wish I could because of this situation. Continue to move your legs just like that.
Adriana Martin and Yolanda Goldwire are still looking for loans.
Otherwise?
We may shut down.
In this credit crunch, many young businesses are struggling to stay fit enough to survive.
Increasing your heart rate.
Anthony Mason, CBS News, Delray Beach, Florida.
Meanwhile, the lender at the heart of the mortgage meltdown found out today it's being sued by 2 states. Illinois and California claim Countrywide Financial tricked borrowers into taking on risky loans that they couldn't repay. Also today, Countrywide shareholders approved the company's merger with the Bank of America. Now to those wildfires that are scorching Northern California. Fire crews are in for a tough battle. Hundreds of fires continue to burn tonight. The largest one stretches across 90 miles in Monterey County, and parts of Butte County are also on fire. Sandra Hughes is there, and Sandra, I understand a lot of people have decided to just get out of there.
Well, you're right, Katie, because conditions are just so bad. If you can see over my shoulder, visibility is so low, it is just so smoky here that military planes sent in to help fight the fires never got off the ground today.
Even with 15,000 firefighters from 22 states working round the clock, it's an uphill battle. There are too many fires in too many places. Since the weekend, 150,000 acres have burned. More than 40 structures destroyed, including 20 homes in the Basin Complex fire near Big Sur. For anxious residents, the news wasn't good.
We don't have the helicopters, and we just don't have the manpower, and we're doing the best we can.
California's governor toured 2 fire camps today, promising more help.
I've been asking Oregon, Arizona, and Washington to help us with some, additional water-dropping helicopters.
In Butte County, 400 Boy Scouts had to break camp and flee.
I was kind of scared because most worry-free guy in the world that I know started to freak out.
But in Greenfield, near Monterey, Dawn Funky is refusing to leave, even though her neighborhood is under mandatory evacuation orders.
So many of these guys around, firefighters, I think I'm okay. If they run, I run.
Everywhere, air quality warnings are up. Smoke has reached Reno, Nevada, obscuring the downtown skyline.
Now, 900 people remain evacuated, including many of the homes surrounding us here in Butte County. 27 firefighters have already been injured battling these blazes. Katie?
All right, Sandra Hughes. Sandra, thanks very much. There's a lot more CBS News ahead. We'll take you to a critical fight in the war on terror, Afghanistan's poppy fields, where the U.S. is losing ground.